one of the big things to me with people always talk about with mobile quarterbacks, especially when you think about in the division, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, these guys, even though they're mobile, they can move around. They get sacked at a really high rate, and I think that's one thing people don't really put together with these mobile guys is the skill is about evading the pressure and being able to avoid the sack all the time. And if you look by the numbers, Trey is actually as good as anyone in the league at it. In fact, I think, like I was just looking this up, Josh Allen is the league leader in pressure to sack percentage, and Trey Lance is just next behind him. So even when Trey gets the pressure, he's going to be able to avoid it at a rate that other guys just aren't. And like you said,
there's that Josh Allen comparison, right?
There's that Josh Allen comparison, right? Yeah,
that's
and
nice, legit.
It really is. And look, they're different players, but I think the thing with Trey versus like a Russell Wilson is that Trey's like pressure to sack percentage is around 10%. Jimmy, for example, is at 20%. Russell Wilson is at like 22%. So when you look at these mobile quarterbacks, you have to understand is like for a guy like Trey, he, like you said earlier, he's not looking to run. That's not his first instinct. If anything, he needs to rely on his running more and be more decisive and quick with when he decides to run. If anything, he's too conservative with it. So
he needs to pick his spots better, and Kyle needs to figure out how to use him better. Because the thing about Josh Allen, I really think Trey Lance is a better runner than Josh Allen. But Josh Allen led the freaking NFL in yards per attempt this year. I mean, he actually averaged more yards per attempt than Debo. So Josh Allen knows exactly how to use his legs, and the Bills have a good feel for it too. The Niners have to look at how he's being used because Trey can do that and some.
Oh, absolutely.
I love how you're pinpointing this escaping pressure thing. That is one of my favorite things about his game.
Oh, absolutely. And like just versus Jimmy, it felt like so many times he just gets cement feet, right? And I think like people talk about pre-post HCL Jimmy, the biggest difference to me is the pocket mobility and the ability to evade pressure and keep the play moving, right? So yeah, with Trey Lance, that's what I'm most excited about. I think it's what Kyle's got to be most excited about, right? Because you go back to that Texans game, and I always think back to that drive where Trey starts back in the back of the end zone. He gets the all slants and he misses it, but he still makes the play anyways to Ayuk on the boundary because that's what Trey does. And I think ultimately that's going to be the difference between Jimmy and Trey, at least at first. That's going to be the biggest one.
His bad plays can still be positive plays.
Exactly. Versus
Jimmy's bad plays can be catastrophic.
Like Grant, I actually compared it to, when you see like in the NBA, one of these 3-point shooters like a J.R. Smith or someone like that take a 3-pointer and you go, no, yes, and then they finally make it. Feels like with Jimmy, it's always when he's rolling out of the pocket, it's like no.
Yeah, you just threw it to the Packers guy. I'm with you.
Versus Trey, it's just such a big difference. So I think this offense.
I keep going back to the fact that the Niners lost to the Bills in 2020, got eviscerated, and it was Josh Allen looked like John Elway in that. He couldn't freaking miss. He looked like the greatest quarterback of all time, right in front of Kyle Shanahan, and I could see Kyle being like, you know what, I need someone kind of like that. That's what I need.
And Grant, if you look at this year, Josh Allen didn't have a run game, basically, right? The Bills' run game was Josh Allen, and then it was whatever else we can do beyond that. So I think the reason so many people are very optimistic and like we should be with Lance is because he's set up for such a great opportunity. And Grant, I've been thinking about this since the Super Bowl, and I'll get off on this little thing is when you look at a guy like Matthew Stafford, and you think about whether or not quarterbacks have the ability to win the Super Bowl, how far they can take you. I think what you really need more than anything is a guy who can get hot for a 3 or 4 game stretch, right? Jimmy Garoppolo, for all the things that he does do well, he just cannot put together that 3-4 game stretch that the 49ers needed him to. And that's the honest truth of it. And I think that's what makes the difference between the Jimmy Garoppolos of the world and the Joe Flacco's or the Eli Mannings or Matthew Stafford, right? I think in the NFL today, people are going to kind of misconstrue this Matthew Stafford thing a little bit. Like, hey, if we just upgrade our quarterback, we have a Jared Goff or that kind of level guy. We just need to upgrade him. No. What you need like a top 10, 12 guy who can get hot given the right circumstances. And I think that's what you saw with Matthew Stafford. And look, with Trey Lance, I'm not saying he can do that because that's a lot to put on him, but he has all the talent in the world and everything afforded to him in terms of the offense that he's going to be playing. And so, I think people are getting a little excited about Trey, obviously, and I think we should temper expectations a little, but at the same time, we should have very high expectations for this team and the offense next year.
I think so too. What's interesting, I'm looking at Josh Allen's stats in his second season starting. He was 23. He completed 58.8% of his passes through 20 touchdowns, 9 picks. Quarterback rating was 85. Not a great year, but also didn't have the nearly the supporting cast that Trey Lance is going to have next year. Trey Lance really, it's almost like training wheels, man. It's not going to be nearly as hard as what Justin Fields is going through or Trevor Lawrence.
No, and you mentioned it so many times. All they need to do is put him in the Jimmy offense and then extend off of it, right?
Yeah.
All they need to do is what they've already been doing and then just expand it a little further and
you
further.
just take a couple shots early in the game, you back off the defense, and you can run the same exact offense you ran with Jimmy. You can just pitch left, pitch right, pitch left, pitch right all day. Yeah.
And I think the thing with Kyle, where he's been getting so good these past few years is, like I think about positionless basketball. It's kind of what Kyle's starting to master with his offense, where he takes Juszczyk, Trent Williams, Kittle, Debo. I mean, all these guys can do all these different things. So when you add Trey, you have that element. Like I think Korean 49ers said it best. If anyone we should be questioning them going into next year, and we need to see more, it's Kyle, because now I think, man, everything is set up for him. And like you've obviously been a certain level of harsh on him, but like realistically, he has his quarterback now. He has the offense he needs. I don't know what more he can ask for.
Seal the deal, like Sean McVay did. Seal the deal. You've gotten to the finish line 3 times, please. 2.5 times. Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for calling in. That was a great call, man.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you too. And I'll talk to you again soon, man.
We shall.